Happy hump day, everybody. So today is Wednesday, August 29th, and I realized this morning that today is my 1-year anniversary of when I met my twin flame. We had our first date at a Chinese restaurant. When the waitress sat his beer down, he said, "Gracias." And he looked at me and he's like, "Did I just say gracias?" And we both busted out laughing, and it was a great icebreaker for the first date of somebody that I had been talking to for several months. And so anyway, I decided yesterday that my advice to myself when I was in my 20s and 30s is much different than the advice that I give myself now. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a reading and see what the cards would say to people who are like the age ranges. Instead of doing the zodiac, do it for age ranges. So I just finished the one, I hope that just fell out. I just did one for 20 to 35 year olds, and this one is going to be from 35 to 50. This could be kind of your overall dating experiences right now and what's going on in your life. The last one had a lot to do with the men being emotionally unavailable and not financially ready. So that ought to be different for guys between 35 and 50, but at the same time, here's two more that popped up. Oh God, this is gonna be crazy. I can already tell by the cards that are coming out. This almost is kind of like just based on my dating history. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Jody, and my nose itches. I've never been married, and I'm 53, but I met my twin flame about 1.5 years ago. So it does happen. It took freaking forever, or it felt like it took freaking forever. But I've dated since I got out of high school. And my dating experience in my 20s was different than my 30s and different than my 40s. In my 20s, I wasn't ready to settle down. I wanted to be a career woman. So the guys that I dated in my 20s, basically if I'd have met a good guy, he would have got his heart broke because I wasn't ready to get married and have kids. That wasn't what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to be a career woman and move to the big city and whatever. So anyway, as I have progressed, you know, the guys have progressed in different stages of life. And so I'm pulling tarot cards right now for like the overall energy of the readings. So the first card is the Five of Pentacles, and basically that means that somebody has been left out in the cold. To me, this means if you're dating and you're dating someone who's probably around your age, maybe 30 to 50, this feels to me like kind of like divorce or something. Maybe this guy is feeling left out in the cold. He's recently been divorced, or he's freshly divorced and on the market. That's not a good one to date either. They need to heal their heart first. So if you are out there dating and you've just met somebody who is just separated or just gotten a divorce, they need to have a couple of years to date around. So don't get your heart set on somebody who is just fresh out of a relationship. That's not going to be good for anybody, and somebody's going to get their heart broke, and most likely it is you. I'm just telling you. The second one is the Devil card, and this tends to be the card of addictions. So perhaps one of the reasons that this man ended up back on the market again is he has some sort of addictions and his wife got fed up with it. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe he has some drug addiction or gambling or spending or alcohol addiction, and that's why that relationship didn't work with the previous spouse or previous relationship for him was because of some sort of addiction that came out, and the female finally just said, you know what, I'm done. Now I'm not saying that's the only reason that could happen, but if you are dating, and most of the women that watch these are probably females, if you're dating someone that's just come out of a relationship, more than likely, a lot of times it's the female that wants the separation, not the man. So that could be what you're dealing with. And this one, to me, this one is, it shows the man walking away from a bunch of cups. The way I look at that is, if you are dating someone who is 35 to 50 and he's just come out of a relationship, and let's say he got a divorce, he is probably walking away from some financial stability that he had created with his first wife, or in that first relationship. He's had to leave his home. He probably had to give her half of her retirement, half of his retirement, and he is starting all over again like a guy that's in his 20s. I can safely say that's happened with my next door neighbor, because I ran into him not too long ago and I got like all the details of, he's like freshly out of a marriage of 30 years. And he even said that I had to give her half the retirement. She got to keep the house. He's moved into an apartment. I'm keeping my voice down in case he's near so he can't hear what I'm saying. So that's the unfortunate thing is, girls, the baggage gets worse as you get older. So for those of you who are being judgmental and you're like, well, I'm going to wait till somebody better comes along. I'm going to wait. It only gets worse as time gets by, because as human beings live their lives, their baggage gets deeper and heavier and deeper, you know, and people go through financial losses and they go through heartbreak and their heart gets hardened, and you know, I mean, it's just going to get worse. So just, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say there, other than just have patience, I guess. And then this was the last card that came up, was the World card, which is kind of like the, I'm drawing a blank. It's like the end, but how does that make sense with these cards? If you're in a relationship and that's the overall energy, maybe that's telling you to end your fantasies. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what that's all about, is put an end to your fantasies of the unrealistic, romantic. Okay, that makes sense. I think that's one of the reasons we get ourselves tripped up, is we've all watched too many freaking romance movies and we see these happy endings and everything's peachy afterwards, and that's not usually how it happens. Because people have addictions and people have financial loss and people have heartbreak, and the movies don't usually show that, you know. It's like they show somebody getting together and living happily ever after, and that's not going to happen. So I'm thinking maybe that's just give up the dream of that. For those of you who are in a relationship right now, I'm going to see what the romance angels have to say. Let's see if they have any guidance for you there. God, that does make true, though. Just for what I know, for guys from 30, whoops, trust. Okay, so there's the first card that's flipped out. For guys that are 35 to 50, you know, and they're out there dating, there's a lot of married men out there dating, too. I ran into that a lot. A lot of people who are trying to find their next relationship before they finished out the first one. Don't even waste your time. You know, if they're not completely cut that cord from the previous relationship and have not given themselves time to heal, I'm not saying that you can't ever be together, but don't try to pull him in and pressure him to do something before he's ready. it's not going to work out for anybody, you know. It's just not going to work out. And so anyway, okay, so the first romance angel card that came out was trust. This situation is calling for you to have faith. So if you are in a relationship with somebody or meeting somebody, you know, trust the timing of it. Trust either that it's going to work out or it's not going to work out to your best benefit. Worst case scenario that happens is if you date somebody, you learn a lesson and you don't ever repeat it. That's the best thing that can ever happen if you get into a relationship that doesn't work out. So, and if you're not learning your lessons from relationships that you're in every time you move on, then that's your own problem. You know, I can't help somebody who continues to go through the same thing over and over and over again. It's like beating your head against the wall and wondering why something's not changing. Next card. It feels like, yep, there's two stuck together there. God, this so fits right along with everything. What did I say? Codependency. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. That goes along with the devil card up there. A lot of guys have codependency issues, addictions, again, drinking, drugs, gambling. Maybe they have shopping addictions. I don't know. I think that's more of a woman's, but codependency. So pay attention to that. If that is a red flag that you think is a potential, pay attention to that. It's not going to go away on its own, most likely. I mean, he has to want to give that up. So, you know, and then the funny thing, the other thing that totally makes sense of coming up is children. Your love life is being affected by children. Now, that could be affected by your children or his children. If you're 35 to 50, it is highly, highly likely that one of you or both of you are going to have children. And those children are not going to go away no matter how bad you want them to go away. And if you are the type of person that's going to get super bent out of shape if your future spouse puts the children first, I need you to think about that. What kind of person do you want in your life if you have a man that doesn't love his children dearly and put his children dearly? You know, you don't want a deadbeat dad. So you don't want somebody that's going to put you first and put the children second. My guy has 2 kids, and I've heard him on the phone with his kids before. And I remember, like, the last time I was with him, he was talking to one of his sons, and when he finished up, he said, "I love you." And when he hung up, I said, I never, ever had conversations like that with my dad. I'm like, when I hear him on the phone with his kids, it just makes my heart even bigger, because I just see, like, what a good dad he is. He used to travel a lot when he was younger, and he said one of the things that made him stop traveling and come back home was because his daughter was pulling at his heartstrings, and they'd be talking, and she'd be talking about getting an A on a paper or report card, and he was there missing that. And so, God, just makes me love him even more. Anyway, years ago wouldn't have touched a man with kids, and didn't for a long time, until I got so old that all the men that I dated had kids. So that obviously didn't work out in my favor. My list of things that guys could or couldn't do was so long. It's no wonder I never found anybody, because my restrictions were ridiculous. Really, really, really ridiculous. So let's see what these are. Sacred Geometry Activation Oracle cards. Let's see what these say. See if there's okay, there's one that's wanting to fly out. Remembrance. The frequency of remembrance supports our memory of everything that we have gone through as a soul and body, providing us with valuable information and tools to flow gracefully with and in this life. So I guess what that's telling me is remember your previous relationships. Remember what you learned from them. Remember when someone didn't treat you right and why you didn't like it. Take what you learned from those previous relationships and put them in the new one, and don't treat somebody the way you don't want to be treated. So remember the time when that guy did blah, blah, blah. Don't do that to him either. You know, guys don't want to be treated like shit, even though sometimes they act like jerks. You know, it's usually because they're trying to protect their heart. It's not because they're just born assholes. You know, it's usually, you know, it's like they got hurt and they put a wall around their heart, and it's highly likely if you're age 35 to 50, you probably have a wall around yours too, unless you have specifically worked to get that off. Okay, and the last one says universal love. The frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other, to our planet, and to the whole of existence itself. I have one more new deck here that I want to throw something out and see what it has to say. Yeah, I'm like, I have studied love and relationships and communication for probably 30 years now. I knew when I met somebody, my dream was always to have him brag about me being, like, have him brag. Oh, there's 2 cards that came out. Let's just take those and see what it says. So the first one is personal development. Oh my God. I was just getting ready to talk about that. It just blows my mind how these cards do sometime. What I was getting ready to say was, I knew that I wanted to have the best relationship possible when my opportunity came along. So I studied dating and relationships and communication and sex, how I could, because I knew that was really super important to men. I've talked to a lot of men, divorced, married, whatever men over the years, and that was one of the big complaints they always had, was their wife got caught up with the kids, and then they never wanted to have sex with the guys, and that was really important, and the women would cut them off. And so I wanted to study and figure out, you know, why relationships broke down. So that was one of the things, and this goes along with personal development. That was something that I started studying early on, was because I wanted to make sure that I had some stuff figured out when I got the opportunity, and I wanted to do it right. I did not want to be divorced with kids. And if I'd have gotten married when I was younger, that's exactly what would have happened, because I had such unrealistic expectations from a man. I would have never in a million years been able to make it work, because he would have been trying to fill a hole in my heart that he was never, ever going to be able to fill. So then the last card that came up was Angel Energy Healing. And I guess, you know, in a way you could pray for healing if you have met somebody that you really, really like, and you think that they've got some addictions, or they're not emotionally ready. You know, about the only thing that you can do is ask your angels and your guides for some help with that, because you personally are most likely not going to be able to do anything about it unless you, like, literally walk off from the situation, and it jolts him into realizing, oh my God, I really did like her, and she's left me because of my bullshit. So ask your angels for some healing for yourself and for your guy. And I guess that's about all the advice I have today. So this was, again, age 35 to 50, and I'll do one for 50 and over, because I'm interested to see what shows up with that. Anyway, happy hump day, everybody. Thanks. Have a great day.